over here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're just getting set up here so we can see the chat. Hi, Tiffany. You said it's Tiffany, right, Julia? Comments. Here we go. Let me just see if this is better. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome. We're going to give just a few minutes for people to come in. Hi, Tiffany. Everybody who's watching the replay. Happy Memorial. That sounds happy. Happy seems a little weird. We recognize everyone who has put their life on the line, that we've lost. And I just hope that your Memorial Day and day off has been a good one and that you've been able to do some things to prepare for the week. I know it just felt good to have some downtime,
right?
You know, and not rush around. So I hope that's been great for everybody. But welcome. It's another Monday. We're here. We're alive. Things are opening back up. This is the reason why we are able to even meet in person.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. I'm really excited for my guest today, Julia of Melanin Mass Moms. We've been trying for a little while. We've been trying for a little while. I think when 2020 first started. So it's really great.
Really happy to be here.
Yeah. So happy Monday to everybody. I hope you're well and settled in. Today is the third episode of the second season of Mummy Mondays, and like I said, it's been a new thing. We're still on the stream, but we're in person, which I'm so happy about, and that we're making that transition. And today we're going to be talking to Julia. Just about her motherhood journey, and I know she has a background in mental health.
Yep.
And then just go into her journey a little bit so you can hear about her story and what inspired her to start Melanin Mass Moms, which I'm so grateful to you for starting because it's a representation of melanin moms in Massachusetts, so moms of color. So, mothers, we have a story in general, but for moms of color, melanated moms, we really want to amplify our voices and have a space that's safe for us to express our joys, our worries, and just to share resources and lean on each other. So I'm really happy that you started Melanin Mass Moms. I know everybody is really excited to learn why and what the future is and what's going on in the group. So without further ado, welcome, Julia.
Thank you so much for having me on your platform today.
Of course.
I'm really excited to be here. A little nervous, but I'm really happy to be able to share the story of my motherhood journey and how Melanin Mass Mom got started. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am a wife. I am a clinical social worker. A lot of my background is focused on mental health, and I worked as a individual therapist for a couple of years, and now currently working as a case manager at a hospital, but also working on individual therapy for a few people as well. And really, when I had my daughter, Alina, she's 3 now.
Nice.
And when I was pregnant, I was just looking for a space for myself. I grew up in this motherhood age of Facebook mom groups.
Yeah.
So I was looking for my group. Where can I fit in? Where
Right.
is my space to ask those questions about hair care, about Black providers, about the traumas that's happening in the world? Where can we have our space to talk about that?
Right.
I didn't find a lot there, so that's kind of where Melanin Mass Moms had started. And also after I had my daughter, I was looking for in-person support groups, because I was trying to find mom friends. I was the first of my friend group to have children, so I didn't really have that kind of mom friend support. So I went into one mom group in Dedham, And it just wasn't, I was the only mom of color there,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't my space. So really creating Melanin Mass Moms so that myself and other moms can have that space, you know. And I think that when we first started the group, it was, I didn't realize how, you know, how big it would become. And now I'm even more excited for, you know, where it's going to take us and how much moms we could help in the process. So just really excited to be able to have that resource available to moms of color in Mass.
Yeah, for sure. And what I think is so like credible about you, because there's a lot of mom groups and just Facebook and digital groups in general, but your background is in mental health. And mental health, we are on the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month, but also there's so much mental health education and awareness that needs to happen and for us to talk about just as moms of color. And can you just talk about how your background really kind of coincided with, I can't think, there we go. How your background in mental health helped, you know, the thinking of what you wanted to provide, what you wanted to offer with Melanin Mass Moms. Like, how did that kind of marry? How did you marry the two?
Yeah, so another thing that we do at Melanin Mass Mom is that we have people go live, and not just, you know, we have educational resources as well. So we've had psychologists go live. I went live once and I talked about how do you make a coping skill box with your child who might be anxious in school? What are some coping tools that you can have in the house that if your child is feeling too anxious or feeling down one day, hey, go take out your coping skill box. Let's choose one. Let's practice deep breathing. Let's practice sensory activities, things like that. So I knew that when I was thinking about my own journey postpartum, and you know, you have your 6-week checkup, you go to the doctor, and you do your little checklist and checking the boxes for postpartum depression, and then that's pretty much where it leaves off. There's no follow-up, there's no follow-through. A lot of moms experience postpartum depression well after that first 6 weeks.
Yes.
Sometimes people, you know, months, even a couple years after giving birth, there's a lot of those symptoms coming back, and the hormone imbalance is still kind of at play. So I think it was really important for us to have a safe space where we can have those discussions openly and talk about the stigmas, especially in, you know, communities of color. We're not having those conversations.
Right.
Things like depression, we can't even say. Like, we can't say I'm dealing with depression because it's so stigmatized.
Yes.
And I think also postpartum anxiety is something that people don't talk about a lot. That's something that I dealt with a lot. After having my daughter, just being so anxious about everything, especially as a new mom. Like, they don't give you a handbook. They definitely don't give you handbooks.
There's no manual.
Right, as a mom of color, that's even another heightened level of you know, anxiety and sensitivity. Thinking about moms who are raising Black, you know, boys these days, I think that the level of fear and the importance of mental health and having that community of moms that will support you and you can have those conversations with is so important right now. So that was really a lot of my passion for Melanin Mass Mom, is to make sure that we are having those stigmatized conversations, that we are normalizing those items as well. And I really enjoy, like, when people are able to open up. Facebook created this new feature where you can post anonymously now. Which is really cool. It's really cool because the group is large. We have, I think, 2,300 members now. So you might not want to post something knowing that maybe like your cousin is in the group, or if, like, you know, maybe you don't want someone to know this just yet. So there is an anonymous feature where you can log in, post anonymously. You don't want to know who the post is about. But you can still get the feedback that you need. You know,
right.
So I really enjoy that part of it as well.
Yeah, and it's to go back to the postpartum, and it's so true. It's really like a spectrum when we talk about the timeline of when that could come on, because that's all I've been hearing about when I was first pregnant and about to, you know, give birth. Like, the postpartum, you have to be cautious, and it's like, how do you expect something like that, you know, or how do you know how that's gonna come on to you? Like, for some people, it's a physical thing, it's a mental thing, it's an emotional thing, you know, but I feel like mine happened like a year or two after.
Right.
and I was going through it and I didn't really know what it was. And so having a group like Melanin Mass Moms, like, joining a few years ago, that was like a great eye opener for me, because not just for myself, because like you said, there's no manual or rule book to it, but if that's not gonna work, it's okay. That's cool. Okay. There's no manual or rule book to it, but to have a group of moms who are talking about the same things, who have been through it before you, and can kind of set out a blueprint of like, maybe you're going through this, like, instead of diagnosing yourself or feeling shameful. So I think that's really, really, really powerful, because I think even through those like live discussions and groups, I'm even realizing like I'm more comfortable to talk about like the postpartum, and maybe because some moms didn't have the chance to even open up, because they can't even think about being depressed. They have to think about just getting their babies to school or whatever they're gonna do. So I really appreciate that part of it. And I remember when Melanin Mass Moms, before there was anonymous posts, people were still posting things and questions, but I think that is going to make people feel more comfortable to do it, because it's anonymous and people don't want to feel like I'm called out or I'm stupid or I'm dumb or anything like that. I wanted to ask you about, because when you talked about yourself before you talked about starting and establishing Melanin Mass Moms, you talked about being the first in your group of friends to be a mom. And sometimes not just being a mom, being the only mom of color in certain spaces, but sometimes being the first one of your friends, you don't really know who to turn to or talk to. Can you talk a little bit about that phase? Because I feel like a lot of moms go through that, especially if they're the first ones of their friends to be a mom.
Yeah, so I think everyone wants to have their mom tribe, their mama tribe, someone that, if your child is, when you first have your child, you want to be able to connect with someone and like, hey, is this normal? Like, is this what she's supposed to look like? Is this how much she's supposed to not sleep?
Exactly.
So a lot of those things, it's like you want to have your group of moms that you can connect with. And, I think that a lot of times that presents dynamics and friendships that might change, focuses might change. So that I think that, being the first one or one of the few moms in your friend group can definitely present that dynamic structure where everyone's kind of growing up and things are everyone's doing their own thing and finding your place in that friendship group, but also learning that friendships are going to change throughout the years, but also things are just shifting, and being able to not lose yourself in being a new mom, but also trying your best to keep in touch with people is difficult, especially when you're trying to keep this little human alive.
Oh, it's so hard. Like feeding and sleeping schedule is totally different.
Right. So having friends that are really supportive and can understand, like, I'm going to not talk to you as much as I used to because now I have to keep this little child alive and keep myself mentally healthy.
Right.
But once in a while we can get together and just connect and, reestablish those friendships. I think it's really important to have a group of people who are going to support you through that. Being the first of your friend group to have a child can definitely present those kind of boundaries, but at the same time can shift a lot of things as well.
Yeah. And what would you say to like maybe a group of friends and group of friend moms who it may be, because I know I went through a period of when my son was younger, kind of like an isolation. I didn't know that I was doing it, but I just felt like that's what I needed in order to keep myself peaceful and sane. Right. Like you said, motherhood doesn't come with a manual. So I was just like, I have to be still and centered where I am and kind of shut everything else out. But in the same breath, that isolation can be a little, like when you're trying to come out of it, it's like, it's a little hard. Not only just because I think if your friends are your friends, they're going to understand once you come out of it. But even for yourself, it's kind of like, So what would be some of your advice for I guess, surrounding friends and family members that maybe a mom is like going through that isolation kind of, and maybe they don't know it, you know, but us as moms who've been moms before can kind of see it. How would you support a mom in that?
Yeah, so I think it's again, when you don't see it, it's really hard to recognize that. So having having friends that are checking on you, having people that are checking on you is very, very important. Because you can really get caught up in that like newborn, infant stage where you don't even realize, oh, I haven't spoken to my best friend in like 5 weeks, or I haven't left the house in a few weeks. And
Yes.
you can just all blend into one day. So really having, being able to, I think it's really important to take a few minutes for yourself, more than a few minutes, but if it's hard at that time, but just taking a few minutes where the baby is sleeping. Sometimes you do want to go to sleep, but let me see, what can I do for myself right now that's going to make me feel like my old self for a few minutes? Or what can I do for myself right now that is going to provide me with that self-care, or that's going to make me feel good for the day? So I think really establishing those things as well. That's hard when you first start off as a new mom. But I think once in a while, just reaching out to people who you talk to and just say, hey, I'm just here with my new baby. I still love you. I'm here, but right now I just need to do this for myself and for my child. But please understand. And if you have a good group of friends, they will definitely understand that. Like, you're going to be off the grid for a little bit.
Right.
But if you see yourself, really not motivated to talk to your friends, if you feel yourself down and just not interested in things that you liked before, those are certainly signs of postpartum depression. If you feel yourself detached from your child, or having a hard time connecting with your child, those are all warning signs that you should be looking out for as well. If you feel like you're not eating enough, loss of appetite, things like that, sleeping too much or too little, are certainly things to take a look for, and to kind of note for yourself for postpartum depression. So those are definitely things that you should be taking note of, but it's also, while it's happening, it's so hard to do.
Right.
So it's kind of that hard spot.
No, that was really, really great information. Just, you touched on a lot of things. If you feel like you're not eating enough, and those are all the things, they come like no-brainers regularly. But as a new mom, it's like, oh, shoot, I haven't eaten, because I'm thinking about sleep that I haven't gotten.
Right.
So that's really like helpful that you touched on all of those. To, kind of switch over to the group. The group, Melanin Mass Moms, is growing. It's like, and like you said, you didn't think that it would be this big, this fast. What are some of the like rewarding kind of happenings that have happened since like the establishment and to now, and how it's growing? What are some of your highlight moments of the group?
I really enjoy reading posts of women who come back, and like there was one last week that someone recently gave birth, and she's like, you guys remember me? I was asking you all those questions about pregnancy. Now my baby was born last week and he's doing so well. Just like really just people sharing their success stories, or just sharing like, I really love this group. This was the best group that I've been in. I've been in a lot of mom groups, but this one is my group. And I think it's all of our groups. I might have found it, but it's Melanin Mass Moms is for us. And I really enjoy just hearing those stories. I went to a birthday party last week, and a mom she was there. She's like, I'm part of your group. It's so awesome. Nice. I love it. Just little things like that just make my heart smile so much.
That's awesome.
And my best friend had her son's first birthday party a couple weeks ago, and she invited a mom that she met at the group, and they have children just a few weeks apart. So just think there's connections like that just really make it all worth it. It's just a great space for us to just connect with each other, empower each other, learn from one another. So I just really enjoy having those little moments of like, reflection of just being able to help one person.
Right.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Right. And I just think that it's awesome that, you've curated this space, and there's, women of color who are professionals in like a plethora of areas. And so not only is it, for support as a mom, but like professionally as a mom as well, because everybody just has different backgrounds. But we're dope. So it's really great that you've curated this space, because it's like somebody can find a friend or find a resource. Because when moms come to me and they're like, well, I don't know, and if I don't have the answer, I'd be like, join Melanin Mass Moms, because if I don't know, somebody else knows, and it doesn't have to do with like who's the leader and who's not. Exactly. It's not that way. There's no hierarchy, and that's what I love about it. And a lot of times, just even for humor relief, like I'll just for a good laugh, like the memes and the posts that just talk about the toddler stage, the teenage stage. It's like, it lets you know what, because I have an almost 7-year-old, so like we're not in the toddler phase or anything, but we're getting to that point where he recognizes who he is, and so it's just so interesting and funny to read what's to come, like what's to expect, and that's really, really helpful. So a lot of times I go to the to the group for a laugh too if I need it, and there's always one. So that's really, really cool. So in the same breath, what are some of your the things that you're hoping to change, or maybe that personally as the leader of this group, because why you were inspired and moved to create this group? Now that you've seen the growth and like some of the needs, like what things would you like to change or like to see differently about the group?
Yeah, so I have a really great group of moderators that help me with the group. They've been involved for a couple of years as well, Tiffany, Sasha, and Kayla. Whenever issues come up in the group, like someone is posting something that might not be appropriate for the group, or issues come up, we immediately get together via text and we talk, how can we handle this? Is this appropriate for the group? Should we add a trigger warning? So having their support really helps the group run a lot more smoother, help us keep this place a safe space for moms, because there are certain material that's not, that can be triggering for people, for our community. So we really work hard on establishing that, and those things are going to continue to come up, and that's why having a great team behind you and helping you making those decisions is really helpful. I'm sorry, what was the original question again?
No, I was saying, what are some things that you want to change? And that's kind of like a change, because that's a forever evolving change, and they're helping you kind of build and accommodate whatever comes up.
Yeah, so and I think in terms of the Facebook group itself, continuing to work on making sure that members are being respectful, that members are not posting triggering items, which doesn't happen too often, but just continuing that. As far as a big change would be establishing the nonprofit. So that is something that we're really excited for, and we recently we filled all our board spots. So really working the Facebook group as our audience, as where we will be asking questions: is this program helpful for you? Will this program help you in any way? Is this something that you would be interested in joining? So really using the Facebook group and the platform that we've built to our advantage to be able to serve more moms, to be able to bring programs that they need, that they want. So I'm really excited for that part of it and that change. But as far as the group, just continuing to grow, continuing to make sure that we are, establishing that safe space and keeping those boundaries, but at the same time allowing moms to just be able to be.
Right. Yeah. And that's the biggest part of it, I think, for myself and a lot of moms, moms of color especially, us melanated moms, to just be. Because there's never really a space that we can just be. Talk the way that we talk, chill the way that we chill, and just approach conversations the way that we approach them without having to feel like we're putting on any airs.
Without filtering and
exactly, or feeling like, we're going to get backlash from it, and so having a space where you can just be is everything. It's everything. I mean, it's an answer. You've really solved a problem with this and with this group. And, because we've all found a group where it's like represents us. So That's awesome, and congratulations on the board, finding all your board members, and just the movement growing to help more moms by the masses, not just in Massachusetts, but like it seems like by the masses, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of melanated moms right in Massachusetts that are from other places, you know? So I could see this being a really big thing, even in like the next 2 to 5 years. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So also with just the group, to kind of go back on, you know, I know you have the board and the moderators that help out, which is a great thing. I just know with having a nonprofit and a business, it's good to have those helping hands to make everything. You want to like speak to that a little bit? Or, just having the helping hands to make sure that everything is executed how you want. Because sometimes we can have big ideas and we just need the bandwidth. We need the bandwidth to help.
Yeah, so I think sometimes just our events, even our lives, like, do you think this live, I go to our moderators and say, you know, do you think this live will be helpful for the moms? Or we noticed that the lives weren't getting as much attention that we wanted. So we say, let's, you know, how can we brainstorm things that will be beneficial? What would people like? And we did one on like couponing, and we had like 30 or 40 moms join. And we did another one that didn't get as much. So just kind of things like that where we're brainstorming with each other. Everyone has lots of ideas and lots of thoughts, and I think that having the board together and the moderators will be a part of the board as well. That'll be helpful to have people who, you know the day-to-day of our Facebook group, being able to, you know, to lead that board as well. So having a group that can really, you know, help us establish a mission, like what are our programs? There's a lot of great groups doing a lot of great things in Massachusetts. So it's about not reinventing the wheels, but let's collaborate with other organizations. Let's work together. Let's create our own, but also work with other groups that are doing some awesome work. So I'm really excited about that piece as well, as to find connections in the city of people who are doing awesome work and how we can make things better. Serve more moms, serve more children. So yeah, I think it's really important to have that support from other people. And I'm really, really excited about the board. Everyone has different experiences, different knowledge bases, different expertise, and just really excited to see where that will lead Melanin Mass Mom. So
awesome. Yeah, when you said you had filled the board, I was really excited about that too, because as Melanin moms, we still are in different spaces and different family dynamics. You know, some are single moms, some are married moms, some are widowed moms, some are figuring it out moms. Like everybody is in a different space. So when you were thinking about the board, did you think about, in the back of your mind, were you thinking about like the total group as well? You know, as you were, you know, thinking about people. Can you talk a little bit about that and how?
Yeah, so the group, the board definitely has, again, exactly what you're saying, the single moms and married moms, figuring out moms. There's one that, you know, a new mom, that she'll be a new mom soon. So I think having those perspectives are going to be really helpful, because then we can represent our community. I think representation is so important, especially these days. You know, there's people in the group in the board in healthcare and law and all different there's a couple social workers, just different backgrounds that can really help us see the bigger picture and figure out what exactly we want to, you know, to put out there for the community. So that piece is really exciting too, just being able to learn from one another. Hope to establish great friendships with the board and really just kind of, you know, push Melanin Mass Mom to the greatest as it can be. And that's really awesome to see.
It's congratulations on that, because that's a big deal, and you'll be able to serve many more moms with just like the different lifestyles and, you know, different family dynamics as well. I also just wanted to ask, I asked what was like most rewarding for you, but can you also just take me to a time where you feel like one of the members maybe joined at a time where it wasn't the best time for them as a mother, or they had some worries and over time you saw transformation with them, or maybe somebody even came to you like, this group has been so transformative for me, just the resources I'm gaining. And sometimes just support is everything, like, and not feeling like you're isolated. So do you have any examples of like just transformation, or any member that has come to you with that type of information? Or
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we see that pretty often, where people are able to, to reflect on how the group has helped them. I don't have any personal examples, but just being able to read the post where they come back and they say, thank you guys for all that feedback. My child is doing this now, or we're able to sleep better. Thank you for this now. We're potty training. So things like that, or even during the pandemic, where people were figuring out what is everyone doing with their children during the day? How are you balancing being home with your child and having to work from home? And moms sharing activities that they were doing, sharing ways that they were organizing their children, sharing ways that they were creating those routines. So that, I think the pandemic was very really eye-opening for a lot of moms, and being able to have Melanin Mass moms to share our daily struggles of being home with a school-age child, a teenage child, a toddler child. Daycares were closed, schools were closed, and like, what are we doing? Like, we're not teachers. Like, now we have to figure it out. So I think that was really, really helpful for a lot of moms to be able to. I think we had a post where we were just sharing people who were looking for childcare, and maybe moms were able to just help each other that way, or people who are looking for activities that they can do for their toddlers at home, looking for ways that they are helping their child with homework, just things like that. I think were really, eye-opening to be able to see how well the group has really just connected with one another, especially in a time of isolation. I would say that COVID was definitely isolating for a lot of people, but being able to turn to the group to have that sense of solidarity of like, we're here together and we're doing this together, but separated. But I think that was really nice to see as well.
I can definitely concur to that. And I know we were talking when the pandemic first started, I looked to Melanin Mass Moms, the group, like, what are people doing? What are people doing with their sons? And during this time, how are they going about organizing their days? Because it's easy to kind of get into a slump, like, we're not doing anything today. But I knew that I couldn't take on that attitude, because I have a child that's looking at me. And so you don't want to fall off too bad. But I remember, and we kind of talked about this off the record, I won't say who the group is, but I was a part of a Facebook group, mom related, parenting related, and I was part of it for some time. But when COVID hit, I had actually posted, how I was going about teaching my son. A lot of people, I had posted on Instagram, and a lot of people had DM'd me and said, like, you should definitely share this. It could be a blueprint for, moms who need to come up with curriculum or anything like that. And I posted what I was teaching my son, which was about correlating the months and like the numeric number that correlate with the months and speaking in sentences. And I posted that, and it was taken down as soon as it was up. And I just kind of like asked, like, why? Like, I don't understand. This is helpful, and they were just like, we're not putting anything up COVID related. And I was just like, well, how can that be? If we're living in a pandemic, And, you don't want to make everything like a racist thing, because I don't like, let's just not even go there, But there's just sometimes like this, you realize through sharing certain things and just being vulnerable and transparent, like, this is not the space for me.
Right.
So where is the space for me? And I believe I shared that same post in Melanin Mass Moms, and it went fine. It wasn't taken down. It wasn't not approved, but I think I had to go through that to understand, where do I belong in spaces, and also how do I want to treat others who are a part of different conversations and spaces, to where they don't feel shut down and they feel a part. of, you know. I try to take every experience and not take it so personally, but then say, like, well, how would I do this differently to be more inclusive? And you and your board, the moderators, everybody with at Melanin Mass Moms is it's just awesome. So I wanted to share that story with you and with the masses, that everybody, the audience with us, that Melanin Mass Moms is really, if you are a mom of color, it's a space for you. If you want to laugh, if you want some resources, if you want some support, even if you're crying, like that is more than fine, and it's all welcome. So I'm just like so proud of you.
Thank
and I'm
you.
So like it's great to like tangibly like touch you. Like we hugged and bumped earlier when she came into the Fairmount space. We're live at the Fairmount Innovation Lab. So yeah, it's just been great to meet you.
Thank you. Really nice to meet you too. It's been a couple months. I did want to talk about a couple of. We do have some support groups that have started. We had one that happened this week on Thursday. Actually, Thursday that came up last Thursday at Modern Party Art, and it was really awesome. Nice space for women to just go, and people cried, people laughed. We just shared about our frustration. We shared about our being able to just vent in person. So that was really, really nice to do it in person, away from the Facebook group, but actually like meeting moms in person. There were toddler moms, there were like infant moms, teenage moms. So just a really nice space. That will happen once a month. So our next one in Boston would be June 17th, and then we also starting one in the South Shore in the Bridgewater area, June 19th. So those two locations will be happening every month. So just a really nice space to just be able to kind of, you know, get away from Facebook and come in person. Let's have those conversations. So, yeah, so I'm really excited for more like in-person events and that kind of thing. We have a picnic coming up on the 6th. As well, just being able, again, to just meet moms. I think a lot of moms just don't have, again, going back to being able to have mom friends or being part of a mama tribe. So I think really providing them the opportunity to establish those friendships is really cool too.
Nice. Yeah, so Julia, Melanin Mass Moms, has a lot of things coming up. I know that there's been some meet and greets, and I think that'll be continuing during the summer as well. So I'm looking forward to attending some of those as the summer goes on, and meeting some of you as well. So it'd be nice to put a face to names and like the digital interaction. So like we did today.
Yeah, so excited.
So I'm just so excited that I love when digital connections become like tangible connections. So
especially these days.
Exactly. And we've been so aloof for so long that I'm just happy that we can actually convene in person. So is there anything else that you would like to talk about? Anything that I've missed?
I think just stay tuned. We have a lot coming up. We also have a website, melaninmassmoms.com. So I'll be posting some things that's going on. I'll post when we have our new board members. I'll share that with everyone so we can know who they are, and just events and things like that. We're on Instagram, Melanin Mass Moms as well. Just just really, really excited to see where this is going to take us, and how many moms we can serve. Really.
Yeah. And I love it because you're so accessible. So if anyone is like watching, any mom is like, I don't really know if I want to be a part of it, and you know, no one's really responsive. Like Julia and her team are pretty responsive, and if you wanna, you know, I know that the group has Promote Your Business Wednesday and all those things, and so there are rules and structure around that. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that just a little bit, just for reinforcement, because sometimes I feel like leaders and, you know, page establishers in the digital world get a little bit of slack when things like that happen, but it's a lot to kind of manage, you know, almost 3,000, you know, people digitally, and people want to get their stuff out, but there's also like a protocol and,
Yeah.
a structure to it. So
Yeah, so we do have established group rules where one is Promo Wednesday, where people can, on Wednesday, you're free to promote all your businesses, your events, things that are coming up, your sales, your items for sale. So I think that that was really important to be able to have a guideline to run a group, to make sure that it is still that safe space so people aren't,
Right.
of course, rules like, being respectful, certain language isn't allowed, triggering content isn't allowed, or being able to add trigger warnings to post. Sometimes we deny a post and say, please repost it with a trigger warning.
right.
Because
Okay.
we don't know what that can do to someone who was traumatized by that post or by a similar event that happened in their life. So really being conscious of that. That's why I have my team of moderators to really work on making sure that everything that is approved in the group is something that is established through our guidelines.
Right.
And also I didn't want it to be a group where every post is just selling items. I want it to be a support group where we're able to still support our members, being able to support Black businesses, but at the same time I'm here for support. I'm here for that solidarity, that connection. But we also allow moms to share their business. So I think that's a cool way of doing it, where we can have that boundary, we can have that the specific day for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, the rules have been pretty, like, I think they're reasonable.
They are very reasonable. I just wanted you to reinforce them, and just, they are very reasonable. And I will say personally, as a person that has a business and, have a lot of conversations and promote and do storytelling, I'm thankful to you to let me do that. But I also just want to say to other people who might want to do that a little bit more, maybe just finding certain things about the group that are relevant, that are going on, and maybe plugging in their business that way. Because I believe if something is going on that can be a help and a resource, I know that you're not going to turn it away.
Yep.
So Julia has been really well with that. She's always reposting, and just for the greater good of every mom. And so I really appreciate that, because there are some groups and people who are like, no, I gotta be the one, nope. And it's really not like that with Melanin Mass Moms and Julia and her whole group of board members and moderators. So join. You should definitely join.
And I had actually someone yesterday like, my friend really wants to be part of Melanin Mass Mom, but she's not on Facebook. So that's one piece that's that is our main platform.
Right.
But you can certainly see what we're doing on Instagram, our email. I email back pretty quickly. If you want to come to our in-person support groups, but to get that real feeling for the group, it is certainly in that Facebook group.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Awesome. So we've talked a little bit, just one little thing. I know the summer's coming, school is about to be out. I love that Melanin Mass Mom, we focus on like how the mom feels. Like I love that, because even when you're in mom groups, we talk about like the children like so much. Not that we don't talk about that in the Facebook group too, but I think that there's an intentionality about the mental health of a mom. And so everything is kind of like centered around that in a subtle way. And I just really, really love that. But as we know, like, we're coming out of the pandemic, we're going into the summer, some of us will have our kids a little bit more in activities. Is there anything that's coming up that, moms can bring the children to in person, or is there anything that you would like to share that might be in the group about, activities, camp activities, or anything like that?
Yeah, so certainly the group is a great resource where you can just search. In the search group, on the search bar, you can put up summer camps, and you'll see all the posts that people have posted about summer camps. So that's a great resource. Or just type up activity. Like, there's so many posts every day. Like, I lost count now. So looking for summer resources, definitely just using the search bar.
Okay.
Our website has a list of general resources in Massachusetts, so that's a good way to just get some general info. I'll start to post some summer resources there as well.
Okay.
And as far as events to bring kids to, our meetup that's coming up on Sunday that we're having, it's at Castle Island at 3 p.m. So that's open to moms, and you bring your children. We're going to have a little picnic at Castle Island. There'll also be a photographer there taking mommy and me pictures.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be a really cool way. Yeah, exactly. So I think we had to postpone it due to almost rain. That didn't happen. But for hopefully on Sunday, it'll be good weather for us. It'll be at 3 p.m. Castle Island. Bring the children. We can connect. I have some activities planned for moms to get to know each other, and activities for the kids. So it'll be really fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to coming to some of these like meetups as the summer goes along, and definitely even capturing some stuff for the show and stuff. So it's been a pleasure.
Really happy to be here.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I'm honored for you to be on the show and on the platform. You represent, and the group represents a lot of what Social You Digital is trying to do with Mommy Mondays, and you have been one of the perfect people to be featured, because it's not just about you, but it's about the greater good of moms everywhere. Right now Massachusetts, but because that's where we are, and so we're just gonna bloom where we're planted, right? Yes. So it's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for this platform. This is awesome.
Of course. So thank you guys for tuning in. You can catch this replay. I believe this is in the Melanin Mass Moms group as well, and we can share it again if it gets lost. You also can go on Social You page and the Social You Digital website. So I'll be posting some clips after this, and so will Julia. So catch the replay, and we will catch you in the group.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Let's see.